Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Arundhati Ramanan and today it is a full house here. I've got both Shruti and Ritu in the studio with me. So hi guys, Ritu, you made a long trip from Bangalore to here.
Well, excited to be starting up on Startup Street from here. So why not?
Welcome Ritu. Well, on that note, it is time for us to take a look at the headlines today. Bharat Pay ropes in former RBI Deputy Governor BP Kanungo and Zomato Chairman Kaushik Datta as independent directors. The company plans to strengthen governance, rigor and transparency as they look forward to a listing on the stock exchanges. The fintech unicorn is also planning a market debut in the next 2 to 3 years.
SaaS-based analytics firm Hotspot is investing $150 million in India over the next 5 years and has also just opened its third center in the country in Thiruvananthapuram. The new investment will fuel product innovation for the modern analytics cloud for companies to build their business on data.
91 Square Feet, a construction tech startup, raises $10 million in Series A round led by Stellaris Venture Partners with participation from existing investors, Y Combinator, Betatron and other prominent angel investors. The fresh capital will be used to strengthen the startup's on-ground service muscle, product development and deepen its engagement with its supplier network.
Swiggy launches Swiggy Skills Academy, a multi-skilling and multilingual free learning offering for its delivery workers and their children. The program will help its delivery workers complete their education, and over 24,000 children of delivery workers have already signed up for access to educational content.
Amazon India's wholesale unit reports 4,592 crore rupees of revenue from operations in FY22, showing a jump of 26% compared to 3,618 crore rupees a year ago. It recorded a net loss of over 480 crore rupees compared to a little over 161 crore rupees a year ago, according to TOFLA.
Google completes the $5.4 billion acquisition of cybersecurity firm Mandiant. Mandiant will join Google Cloud to help organizations improve their threat, incident and exposure management. The firm plans to retain the Mandiant brand.
A majority of Twitter shareholders have voted in favor of the social media company's $44 billion sale to Elon Musk, says Reuters. Shareholders were widely expected to vote in favor after a stock market downturn made Musk's $54.20 per share deal for Twitter, which was signed in April, look pricey in the current environment. Twitter shares are now hovering around $41.
Well, those are the headlines we're tracking for you this evening. Modern analytics cloud company Hotspot has announced its plans to invest $150 million across its operations in India over the next 5 years. Additionally, the venture has also opened its third R&D center in India. And to find out how this new investment will help Hotspot empower Indian companies to build their business on data, joining me now is Ajit Singh, the co-founder and executive chairman of Hotspot. Ajit, welcome to Startup Street. You know, like I said, you will be investing $150 million in the country over the next 5 years. I believe you've already spent around $25 million each in the existing 2 centers. You've opened your third center now in Trivandrum. How has the business grown for you and what is the traction you hope to generate with this new center?
Hi, Shruti. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, we are investing $150 million over the next 5 years. And we are a company of about 800 people globally. India has always been a very, very important part of our story. We started our operations here primarily focused on building products about 5 years ago. And we have almost 300 people now in India, across Bangalore and Hyderabad. We are starting this new center in Trivandrum. And with this investment, we'll continue to grow our R&D teams here that have done a tremendous job of delivering products for all our customers globally. And we will also invest in our partners that are based here, system integrators. And in addition to that, we'll also be starting operations for sales and marketing, focusing on India market as well as global markets.
All right. Ajit, I also believe the new investment will fuel product innovation at Hotspot for the modern analytics cloud. If you could tell me how you're empowering companies to build their businesses on data, take me through your offerings, tell me the whole process.
Yeah, Shruti, the biggest thing that's happening in the world of data is a transformation to cloud. A lot of companies either are starting in the cloud or they're moving all of their data in the cloud. And you've seen birth of massive new cloud companies like Snowflake and Databricks, and obviously the big players like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. They have their own cloud platforms. But what the companies are realizing is that you can have all the data in the cloud, but unless that data can help your business make better, faster decisions based on live and fresh data, that move is not going to be delivering much business value. So with Hotspot, business people, non-technical people can analyze data. So think of Hotspot as Google for numbers that can be used by anyone in the company to get value from data. Traditionally, people have tried to build dashboards that were built by data specialists, data scientists, and we know these dashboards are very static in nature, and also there are not enough data scientists to go around. So people end up waiting weeks and weeks to get answers to the questions they have. But in today's world, the business is moving so fast. You are not doing merchandising every 3 months. You are making merchandising decisions every hour, every minute sometimes. So you need to power all your marketing team with instant information access, and that is what Hotspot enables for our customers through our search-based technology, which is very, very unique.
All right, so you are a Google for numbers, but let's talk about Hotspot Everywhere. It is a low-code embedded analytics platform, basically that allows developers and product leaders to incorporate the best of Hotspot into their own apps and services. If you could again elaborate on this offerings and how it works.
Yeah, so you might have heard that every app is becoming a data app. Whether somebody is building a SaaS application for HR, sales, marketing, for medicine, hospitals, there is so much data that is being generated, and these apps have to be intelligent to deliver maximum value. And that's where Hotspot Everywhere comes into play. We bring our search and AI-based technology to SaaS developers, to business application developers, to include our search capabilities so that their end users can have live access to data and get a lot more insights than has been traditionally possible with just embedding standard static dashboards inside an application. And we have seen massive impact of this offering. This has grown more than 400% over the year. And the other cool thing about this is completely built by our team in India, and our global customers are using it.
Sure. Okay. Let's talk about business growth, Ajit. In the last 1 year, Hotspot's annual recurring revenue from its cloud offerings grew by 102%. What is the target for this year, and how much are you clocking today?
Yeah, so Shruti, you've seen in the cloud, big companies like Snowflake and others, they have had such an impact, and they continue to grow at a very, very rapid clip. So for the foreseeable future, we expect that we will continue to grow in 3 digits. There is a lot of demand for our cloud offerings. We don't, as a private company, we don't share specific revenue numbers right now, but we are expecting a lot of growth in the years to come. This is such a huge market with close to $100 billion spent by companies every year.
All right. You acquired Diota in 2021. How has that acquisition worked out for you? It certainly added 50% more headcount in India, including an expanded footprint in Hyderabad. Also, any more acquisitions in the pipeline for India?
Yeah, we acquired Diota almost 2 years ago, and it's been really phenomenal for us. Diota had a really strong team based in Hyderabad that we have grown since then, and that team has delivered significant capabilities for data engineer users for Hotspot. When they are connecting Hotspot to these cloud data platforms like Snowflake or Databricks or Google BigQuery or whatever platform might be used by a customer, the products that are coming out of our Hyderabad office, they are used by data engineers to create models that can then be exposed through our search technology. So it's been really, really impactful.
All right, Ajit, we've completely run out of time, but many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today, and wish you the very best with your India plans.
Thank you so much, Shruti. Thanks for having me.
On that note, on the hot seat today, Lucidity, a cloud storage platform which helps businesses keep cloud storage neat, tidy and cost efficient, has raised $5.3 million rupees in seed funding led by Alpha Wave Investments. Other investors that participated in this round include BNext, Bloom Ventures, Bold Capital and New Ventures, to name a few. Now, to discuss the company's fund allocation plans and growth story is Nitin Bhadoria, the co-founder of Lucidity. Nitin, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Like I said, you're an AI-enabled software for cloud storage. So take us through how it works and how are you making business more efficient for your clients?
All right. Thanks, Sarthi, first of all, for having me here. And as you rightly mentioned, Lucidity is an AI-enabled layer on top of your cloud storage, which is your AWS, Azure, and GCP of the world, which makes your cloud storage cheaper, faster, and better. Now, these are not just subjective metrics. The moment, let's say, if any of a customer deploy Lucidity on top of their cloud storage, it reduces the cost by up to 70%, ensures you never have a downtime, even in peak hours, and deliver all of these capabilities at a click of a button, right? Now, to take you back how the concept is, and this is a very innovative concept which you have built. So let me relate it with a very live example which you can relate to. So if you buy a laptop, right, you probably buy a 512 GB disk along with that, and you have paid for it. You might just have 100 GB data in that. So you're actually wasting 60 to 70% of the cost, but unfortunately you can't do anything about it, right? You've already paid for it. But in cloud, this is very much possible. Like you can remove the disk, use it as depending on the usage. However, to do that, it's very technically challenging. Imagine there is a live disk which is serving traffic. How do you shrink it? How do you increase it, right? It might lead to performance loss. And that's where the organizations worldwide were wasting significant money in over-provisioning, which is what Lucidity as a layer has solved. We are building a first product which has built the capability to shrink and expand the disk as and when required. So hence, now you don't need to pay for 70% of your cost, which is getting wasted.
Right. And
That's
we will discuss
Lucidity.
We will discuss your products in detail as well, but you've raised $5 million, so where's the money going to go? Will most of it go into new tech innovation?
So like you mentioned, it's a deep tech product. So 60 to 70% of the money will be going in product development because we need to have great engineers who can build this tech. The rest 30 to 40% would be going in expansion in a different geography. So we just opened our Abu Dhabi office,
right,
and we opened our New York office. So we are hiring a sales team there to expand globally.
All right. And if you could quickly take us through the kind of products you have on offer, what is the new kind of tech that you're also looking at going into the future? What's the potential?
So we want to be an expert in storage, cloud storage, right? So we are building a layer which makes your storage faster, better, cheaper. We have just released the first module which makes it cheaper without any downtime. And in the next 2-3 years, you will see a lot of offerings coming in which are making you faster and more reliant, but only restricted to cloud storage.
All right. So you're also going to use the funds, like you said, to fuel your expansion plans. And you said you've just opened up your offices in Abu Dhabi and New York. What are the other markets you're eyeing, and how soon are you going to enter these newer markets as well?
Arundi, I think we are still very early stage. I think our 70 to 80% of focus is on US market. That's the biggest market we want to crack in. At initial stage, we just want to focus on that. Probably in next to 2024, it's where we'll start exploring other market. But I think US is big enough for us to expand first.
So right now your focus is on the US. So tell me, what are the kind of revenues you're currently seeing, and where do you plan to end this year with also US being your main market? What's the revenue mix going to be like?
All right. Thanks for asking this. So we took almost 1 year last year to build this product, and we went live with this product this March. And last 6 months, we have seen a phenomenal traction. A lot of Fortune 500 companies we are working with right now, dozen Fortune 500 companies in US who are using, as we speak, our product to make the cloud most efficient. We will continue to work with them potentially next 3-4 months so that we stabilize the software. We make sure that we deliver the value. We feel that next year is going to be the biggest year where we're going to expand. And the one metric which we end up tracking is not the revenue. It's basically how much data we are managing for customers.
Right.
And we hope by the end of next year, we end up probably with almost 10 to 20 petabyte of data managed for customers.
All right. Okay. So your customers, like you said, are typically enterprise and upper mid-market companies that are cloud transient or in the process of shifting their data from on-premise servers to the cloud. So take us through the kind of clients you have on board, and you're also hoping for a wider release soon. What's the plan on that front?
Right. So just to clarify, our solution actually can be used by a startup who just started their journey in cloud to a big Fortune 500 company who have been in cloud from last 10 years. However, what we've seen is the upper mid-market and enterprise are taking our product by storm because they have the biggest significant pain. Now, going forward, we want to focus with them. Right now, as I said, we are working with one Fortune 500 company, retail tech, and then other data management space. We'll be able to disclose their names probably in a couple of months when we are making a bigger GA launch. this January onwards, 2023, where you will find our software now widely available across the world. Right now, we'll keep it for next 3-4 months with private launch with those selective design partners only.
All right, Nitin. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thanks, Aditi, for having me here. Thank you.
All right, and some other news that's coming in. The Finance Ministry is going to set up an expert committee to address regulatory issues with regards to venture capital and private equity investments. Now, this 6-member expert committee is going to be headed by former SEBI chief M. Damodaran. The committee has to submit its report in 3 months. The announcement, remember, was made during the speech of the budget speech in FY23 in a bid to remove any friction faced by such players in making investments in India. Now, top venture capital and private equity players who are big investors in startups had met Prime Minister Modi and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the run-up to the budget to smoothen the process of investing in India.
And with that, it's time for us to head into a short break. But coming up, organic dairy enterprise Akshay Kalpa Organic has raised $15 million in a Series B round. How does the company plan to use the funds? What's the growth outlook? We put the company's co-founder and its investor Rain Matter on the hot seat to find out more. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Now, organic dairy enterprise Akshay Kalpa Organic has raised $15 million in Series B funding from new and existing investors. British International Investment, Rain Matter Foundation and some of its existing investors, including Venture Dairy, have backed the company in this round. Now, prior to this, it had raised a Series A funding from Lok Capital and Venture Dairy in the month of July in 2019. Akshay Kalpa plans to aggressively invest in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad markets, as well as expand into new geographies, which include Pune, Mumbai, and others. To talk about the company's future growth plans, its strategy, joining us now is Shashi Kumar, the co-founder and CEO of Akshay Kalpa Organic, and Sameer Sisodia, who's the CEO of Rain Matter Foundation, an investor in the company. Sashi and Sameer, both of you, thank you very much for being with us here today. Let me start with you, Sashi. First, with this $15 million of funding that you've raised, what is the valuation of the company? How do you propose to use these proceeds? Give us your plans.
Thanks very much for this taking us on the call. See, from a expansion point of view, we are looking at seriously expanding our Hyderabad market. We are already present in the Hyderabad market. We want to make substantial investments there. And also Chennai market, we want to expand. And double down on what we do in Bangalore right now. Bangalore is our home market and we do substantial revenues, do come from there. Okay. And other than that, we are looking at expanding into Pune and Mumbai and Kochi markets, facing mostly south of India and also some tier 2 cities. Investments also would go on, strengthening our Chennai cluster. We started work on Chennai cluster in August 2019. It has taken around close to 3 years for us to get the cluster organic certified. And we are starting our work on Hyderabad cluster, this month or coming month. And also Pune production clusters will be starting. So most of the investments would go into expanding new markets, strengthening the existing markets, and also strengthening our production clusters around 3 cities. That is Chennai, Hyderabad, and Pune, Mumbai.
And Sashi,
so that's where we are right now.
Sashi, what is the company now valued at with this latest round of fundraising?
So we have raised $15 million, diluting around 32% in the company.
Sameer, let me bring you in. Why this particular investment? What kind of opportunity do you see in this space?
Hi, thanks for having me on this. So as a foundation, we are very focused on climate as a problem. We are approaching this both through grant making as well as investments. What Akshay Kalpa represents in this puzzle is a very important piece because we believe that climate smart entrepreneurship that builds resilience in local entrepreneurship, local food systems, local asset creation in terms of independence in water management at the farm, soil management at the farm. These are very critical components of businesses in days going ahead. So we believe this is a great example of how you can build a very strong business, a very strong brand while actually being climate positive. So it was a fairly straightforward decision to get involved in Akshay Kalpa for us.
Well, Sashi, so, what do you have on offer? In the last 5 years, you've had a compounded growth rate of 60% plus. What lies ahead in terms of both revenue and profitability? Could you give us some projections for the near term?
See, what we are really looking at is build 1,000 crore top line business in next 5 years. That's what we are looking at. Okay, and this can be done with a cumulative growth of around 60% CAGR. We have demonstrated already it is possible. That is on the top line growth. And in terms of this year, we are looking at, annual run rate of right now around 200 crores. That's what we will focus and deliver this year.
All right. Samir, let me quickly bring you back in then. While there is plenty of opportunity in this segment as a whole, but what we do have is plenty of competition. There is the deep-pocketed conventional players. There are startups that are also making their mark in the space. So, what really differentiates this company from the rest of the pack?
I think what we are seeing in terms of climate change is what differentiates Akshay Kalpa and Shashi from most entrepreneurs. It's not just what you see at the front end at the level of the dairy brand itself, but it's what's going on at the back end in terms of the deep relationships at the farm, the deep expertise of how farm management happens, how fodder management happens, the whole extension support network. These will stand in good stead. I think we need more entrepreneurs who are climate smart, and any business that is not climate smart today is going to very likely face a very, very, very tough time in the years ahead.
So, Sashi, why not take the product, pan-India? I see from the expansion plans that you had detailed, you're mostly listing out cities in the southern region. What about northern parts of India? Are you looking at, introducing your products there as well anytime soon?
So I think the strategy, as Samir mentioned, we would like to set up production clusters where the market is, rather than producing from one area and hauling throughout India. So if at all we are going to north of India, for example, if you are doing a Gurgaon or a national capital region, we will set up a production cluster in and around that area, rather than just take this milk into north of India. That doesn't really work in terms of logistics, transportation, the miles the milk takes, that is going to be very critical. So in short, we would like to focus production clusters where the market exists. For example, Bangalore, we have got a production cluster. Chennai, we are already there. In Hyderabad, we are setting up. Pune and Mumbai, we are setting it up. Around Kochi, we are setting it up. So we would like to really expand in a very similar way. Where the market is there, we will set up the production systems.
All right. On that note, Samir and Sashi, both of you, we wish you all the very best and thank you for your time here on Startup Street today.
Thanks
for having me.
And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Startup Street. From Shruti, Ritu and me, many thanks for watching.